Cool. All right, what's up everybody? I'm going in on round 2 on this drawing here. So I'll probably finish it up here in about an hour, I think. I don't know, we'll see. Just a reminder to those of you who are just now jumping in, there's a higher quality version of this stream on YouTube where you can see my photo reference, and it's just a much better camera I'm using. So head over to YouTube, check out my YouTube channel if you haven't yet, and let's finish this drawing. So here I really just want to get this skin tone in. I think I've been holding back on the value here, so I'm gonna just let myself dirty up the skin tone, so to speak, and then I'm gonna clean it up with this kneaded eraser. So I think I want to focus on the nose for a little while. Oops, sorry, I just kicked the camera here. There we go. So this is a commissioned drawing of Abel. It's a companion piece to a drawing of Cain. I've already finished Cain. Abel is up next. So I took a bunch of pictures that I'm thinking about using for this drawing. And not totally sure which my favorites were, so I just figured I would do a few of them just because I want the practice drawing anyway, and whichever ones I don't end up using for that I might be able to, you know, sell in my gallery anyway. Never know. So here I'm just wanting to really focus on getting a really dynamic value plan in place. I think I want to push this goatee out even farther too. And I can actually just start doing this with this smudge stick here. Let myself get kind of messy with it. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, still getting used to YouTube as a medium for live streaming, so send me a message. in the chat. Let me know how you think it's going. Still trying to figure it out. All right, Peter Barisha says, hello and good evening from London, Mr. Dockery. How are you? I'm doing well. I am very, very tired today, but sometimes when I'm like, man, I really don't have the energy to draw and I don't draw, and I decide to draw anyway, I think some of my best drawings have come from days like that where I said, you know what, I'm gonna push through and draw anyway. So today is one of those days. What about you, Peter? How are you? Thank you, Vishnu Painter, VIP. Appreciate that. I think I want to get a cleaner smudge stick as well. This one is already just so dark. I mean, you can just draw with this at this point. So for these lighter areas, I want a cleaner smudge stick. Peter says, I love how you've layered the drawing and how you've used shading and added texture to the drawing. It looks phenomenal. Thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna go get a cleaner smudge stick for my drawing drawer, so I'll be gone for like 30 seconds. But just a reminder, there's a much nicer looking version of this stream on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, you can also see the photo reference in my YouTube channel. So just hit the link in my bio, click YouTube, and check out the live stream. So I'm gonna go get another drawing tool, one sec. Okay, I got two more. As you can see, these two are much cleaner. So I'll use this smudge stick on the far right for the really dark areas. And I'll use these two over here for, the smudge stick on the far left for the dark areas. These two for the clean areas. So that way I don't do any irreparable valuing of parts of the drawing that I want to be light. So, someone says thank you for all the tips. Yeah, I'm so happy to help. I really enjoy it. Peter Barisha is on day 11 of the vaccine detox and feeling amazing. Well, good. I'm glad you're feeling amazing. That's awesome. And then on YouTube, Law Trafalgar says, it's going great, good quality also. Thank you. Yeah, I worked hard on getting a good looking stream for my YouTube. My Instagram stream is just my phone balancing on a 2x4 piece of wood on top of a stool. It's ridiculous. I meant to take a picture of it yesterday, but because it's a picture of my phone, I would need another phone or a camera to be able to do that. I'm using both of those at the moment. All right, so let's keep going. This is a part of the drawing where I really want to slow down and make sure, you know, if I did this, everything that you see here I did yesterday on my live stream. Took about an hour and a half, I think. And today is just all about refining. And because this is a commissioned piece, I'll be moving pretty slowly. So, welcome to everyone who's just jumped in. just want to soften everything up and get a little more uniform with the value as well. The character I'm drawing is a shepherd. And so I do really want to try to capture sort of a dirty look. Kind of an old world shepherd probably was pretty... Ooh, I've missed something here, but it is definitely too late. That value is way too dark. That ear is staying exactly where I left it, or where I put it yesterday. But sometimes I come in and I'm like, whoa, that's a big mistake. I didn't catch that yesterday. That is one of the advantages of making sure you take lots and lots of breaks when you're working on something important. Because if you do not, you miss things like that. Peter Barisha says, I love how you're adding darker and darker shades of charcoal. It gives the drawing a look that you're burning certain areas to highlight the darker tones. Yeah, hell yeah, that's what I'm going for. I'm using this piece of charcoal here. This is just such thick, dark, compressed charcoal. And it's also very messy. And I really like the texture it's giving me. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna work on this ear. In the photo reference, for those of you who are on YouTube, you can see the photo reference. The ear it kind of looks shiny just because it's catching that light and because the skin is stretched so tightly over the cartilage on the ears that it does give kind of a shinier look. I got a question on YouTube. Do you make any hyper-realistic portraits using charcoal or graphite? I usually don't go hyper-realistic. I like to keep my portraits looser, more suggestive, just because I enjoy it more that way, and I enjoy the way it looks more. Just kind of a personal preference. But I think if I had to go hyper-realistic, I would go with charcoal, just because graphite can't get quite dark enough. For my taste, I mean, there's plenty of amazing artists who are way better than me who use graphite and who use charcoal, so it really is just up to personal preference, I think. Someone on Instagram says, a lot of artists struggle to make their drawings look three-dimensional, but you adding layers to it makes the sketch pop out. That is the whole goal. That's what I'm shooting for right there. Trying to make it pop. So thanks for that comment. That's encouraging. I'm glad it's popping. Sometimes they don't pop. And you're like, dang it. Where did I go wrong? I want to keep developing this ear. I don't want it to stand out too much, but I really do want it to look shiny. So I'm going to tone down the highlighted areas. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I want this earlobe to pop, actually. Let's try that. I can always tone it back down if I need to. Yeah, I like the way that earlobe is starting to look. Just a reminder to those of you on Instagram, there's a much better version of this stream on YouTube. So hit the link in my bio, go to my YouTube channel and watch the live stream there if you want to see the photo reference and if you want to see a higher quality. Getting a good reminder from Peter Barisha, less is more, Mr. Dockery. Quality over quantity, don't overdo it, otherwise you'll complicate it. Simplicity is key. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, thanks for that reminder. Those are some of the quickest things that artists forget. That's the first thing to fly out of my mind when I'm working is simplicity, less is more. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my eraser and start to kind of pull out some of the highlighted areas. On the ear. I want to tone down this area right here so that the earlobe pops even more. And then we're going to catch this earlobe and see if we can bring out a little more light in here. What do y'all think? Is that popping too much? Okay, we got a question from Apes Concert. Do you have any tips for sketching or shading ears? Yes, I do. I taught a lesson on the anatomy of the ears for Adobe. It's on their website. It's an article. They turned it into an article. And since then, I've begun to think that that's ridiculous. Now what I do is I just look for the patterns of light and shadow. And if you map those accurately, then the cartilage formation should start to come out all on its own. Hey Bonnie, good to see you. Thanks for jumping into my stream. Sorry I can't join you all tonight. I gotta be in Germington here in an hour. Germantown? Maybe that's how you say it. Is that too much detail in the ear? What do y'all think? I might pull that back. It might be commanding too much attention. Just ever so subtly, let that fade back a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll focus more on the darks in the ear. One thing I do is I step back a lot and I allow my eyes to unfocus. And I look at the photo reference and I look at my drawing, both with unfocused eyes. And the unfocusing of my eyes simplifies the value patterns and I can see if I've gotten them correct or not. All right, we've got a comment in YouTube. A piece of the portrait that has more detail compared to the overall picture gives a really nice effect. Yeah, that's a great comment. Absolutely. That is planning for a focal point. And I'm just going to keep stepping back. I mean, there's a couple ways to plan for it. One, you can plan for it sort of thematically. Say, what's the most important part of the portrait thematically? And then that's what you can focus on. The way I'm doing it here, and maybe this is a mistake, is I'm just going to keep stepping back and asking myself which part of the portrait just wants to be developed more. And I want to keep pushing this until this just feels like just sun-weathered skin. Okay, Peter Barisha asks, who might this individual be that you're carving with your pencil on 2D plane of existence? I love it. This is a friend of mine. His name's Ray. And I just thought, this is a drawing of an Old Testament character, Abel from Genesis, Cain's brother. And it's a commission. I did a drawing of Cain. Someone purchased it and said, I want a companion piece. And so this is the piece that's going to go with it. I did a big photo shoot, and I liked so many of the photos that I might even draw this a couple times. So I might pick a different photo reference and do more. Softening this up, and I will come back in and articulate it more. Actually, I kind of like it really soft. That's a really cool effect. What do you all think? Did you prefer it before I softened up the eye? I think it looks kind of cool. I might have to look at some before and after and see which one I like best. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the darkening of the skin tones entirely. That's pretty cool. All right, time to add a little more to this goatee. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Stepping back, constantly asking myself, what does this thing need? I want to bring this neck down, and I'll just keep pushing it. I don't want to go too far. I really want to be intentional about which parts of the portrait I articulate and which parts I leave vague. So that's something that I'm constantly trying to think about as I work this. Someone in YouTube, in my YouTube chat, Billy Modine, says you have really transformed the photo into a real Abel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, when I left this thing last night, I went home, had dinner, looked at a picture of it, because I didn't want to come back into my studio, and I really didn't like where it was last night. And today, just this second session on it, I'm beginning to really like where it's going. There's a lot more life in it. And so I appreciate you saying that. Sometimes if you don't like something, all it needs is a couple more hours, or maybe another hour even. I mean, this was an hour and a half of drawing yesterday, and I've been drawing on this for 30 minutes today. So I've been in this drawing for about 2 hours. And I'm trying to bring some real energy into the way I articulate this. The hair, the hair is so frenetic. And I want to let my drawing utensil capture that. And that's why I'm holding it with such an awkward kind of, and I'm pushing it instead of pulling it, which gives me far less control. And that's kind of helping me capture the out of control shape of the beard here. So I don't want to go too far with that. I really don't want to over articulate. I mean, when you step back, you ask yourself, is it doing what I want it to do? And if it is already doing what you want it to do, then maybe you don't need to keep going. Maybe that's all you need for that part of the drawing. And I'm just going to keep pushing, keep developing. All right, we have another comment. It is really capturing some part of Abel that is not in the real photo. That's such an interesting concept. And that happens a lot when it comes to making drawings or paintings. It's so interesting how the artist can just put something into their work that is not in the photo reference, that's an improvement on the photo reference. So I would love to hear more from Billy Modine on what you see. What do you see in the drawing that you're not seeing in the photo reference? No pressure, it might be hard to articulate. Areas like this of really rough charcoal. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. No, it's not going to let me do it. But areas like this, I just love the energy in that charcoal stroke right there that I think I'm going to just leave it. I'm like not even going to touch that again. And sometimes you have these moments that you just really love, and there's this horrible, horrible human tendency to where if you draw something that you love, you draw or paint something and you're like, ooh, I love that so much. We have this tendency to keep messing with it, and then we lose what we loved so much about it. It's tragic. So I've learned that. I've learned it by ruining a ton of drawings. And so I'm going to leave that alone. I might come down here a little bit more. In fact, I think I will. But I'm going to leave this up here. So I'll take this and just carve these little areas in. And now I want to make sure I leave some of that. Okay, so La Trafalgar says, I've been practicing hyperrealism for about a month now, and it's terribly harder than I thought. Have you ever tried doing hyperrealism? When I was in college, I did a little bit of it, and I've gotten to the point where I prefer, and this is just what I enjoy doing more, I prefer looser, more suggestive portraits where if I capture the energy of the moment, then I'm satisfied and I don't need to go farther as far as just pushing the realism of the drawing. So my preference is once I've got the story captured, once I've got the energy captured, I'm kind of like, is it done? And then of course I want to know, is it as beautiful as I want it to be? And you can definitely define beautiful however you want. Okay, so we have got a comment. Let's see. Billy says, there is part of the art that you're communicating to my brain that the real photo doesn't allow. The joy is more present in the portrait. Love hearing that. That's so cool. Thank you so much. That's what I'm trying for. I'm trying to capture this joy. And it's also it's also supposed to be a bit of a sad moment. So here's the idea. This is Abel, and he's looking skyward, and he is oblivious to what his brother is conspiring to do. And so that's a big part of my concept in this drawing. Okay, I think I want to darken this ponytail, or the bun back here a little bit more. Sorry if you guys are getting a bunch of noises coming in. For some reason my phone notifications are just going crazy right now. So I'm stepping way back because I really want to make sure I keep getting good perspective on what it is that I'm doing and how well it's going. How well am I sticking to my game plan? Look at this hand. I think I need to go wash this because if I touch any part of the drawing that I don't intend to add value to, then I'm going to be sad. So I'm going to go wash this hand. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Had to go wash my hands because they were covered, absolutely covered in charcoal. Okay, so just heading off and coming back to wash my hands, I'm noticing that I don't like these light areas up here. Really like the energy right here, but I think I'm gonna soften this. I'm gonna go in with a smudge stick and try to even this out a little bit. I'm gonna move really slowly because I don't want to do too much. At this stage in a drawing or a painting, a lot of what you're doing is just making these minute changes. And so it just doesn't take much. I think I need to darken this forehead even more. So what I'll do is I'll take this and just start pulling this down. Need to be careful. Look how dark this is. There's a lot of charcoal in this smudge stick, so. Does anyone else in the chat see right there? Look at how dark that is. Luckily, I kind of like it, so I'm gonna probably hang on to that area for just a little longer. All right, yeah, that's way too dark. But I kind of like what it's doing. It's making him look a little dirtier and more interesting, in my opinion. So let's keep going. What's up to everybody who's just joined? I saw a few new names come in. Just a reminder that there is a much higher quality version of this stream on my YouTube channel. You can see the photo reference there too, so if you want to check that out, hit the link in my bio, click on YouTube, and then come see me in my live stream on YouTube. I used to stream a lot on Instagram, but I think I'm going to really adjust my efforts and start focusing more on YouTube than I do on Instagram. So if y'all don't subscribe to my channel yet, you should go do that. Okay. Now I really want to begin articulating the nose and the cheek area a little bit more. I want this dimple to come to life a little bit. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. I appreciate that. Anne-Marie says it's looking great. I wasn't into it yesterday, but I'm getting happier with it as I work on it today. Okay, so I definitely added way too much value right here, didn't I? But luckily, I did it with a smudge stick. And a lot of the way I like to draw is pushing and pulling. I push the value darker and then I pull it back out with an eraser. And it's almost more akin to modeling clay than it is drawing, or at least that's how it feels. Then I'll take a cleaner smudge stick like this one. And I'll go back in. Okay, I think I want this nose to be shinier. Allowing my eye to drift out of focus, to observe the value patterns. I think this shadow here is darker. Again, if you want to see the photo reference, it's up on my YouTube stream. So I'm streaming on both Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Not from the same phone or the same camera. Cool. Yeah, Instagram is just my phone. On my YouTube stream, I'm working from a DSLR, so it's a much nicer picture there too. I'm totally new to streaming as well, so if anyone has any streaming tips or advice, I am totally open to suggestions. I'm gonna go in with this eraser and let's see if we can go ahead and get this nose looking shiny. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take like a big long paintbrush or even a dowel and just place it like that so that I can lean my wrist over this and you get a lot more control, whereas just hovering your hand, you don't get as much control. So that's a fun little tip. I forget what these are called. There's definitely a name for them. Anybody in the chat remember what these devices are called? Oh yeah. That's a good little highlight there. I want to bring this up to the bridge of the nose. And that nose is getting shinier. He has a bit of a cliffhanger there. I'll clean that up for him. There you go, Abel. That's a stupid joke. Hit that highlight on the temporal ridge a little bit more. I think I went a little bit overboard there with that highlight. I'm gonna draw that back. And this is a lot of what I'm doing at this stage in a portrait. I'm making minor changes, stepping back and realizing that wasn't the best move. Stepping back again, and I like how soft that became. So I'm not happy with what's happening with the cheek. That's too much value contrast through the gradation of the cheek, so I'm gonna bring this all back. Soften it all. I like that better. I might bring it back a little bit, but for the most part, I'm okay with it. This, I'm definitely gonna bring back. There's this light patch underneath the lip. So let's keep going with this. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I'll bring the beard back up too. I want to unify the value in the nose a little bit more, so I'll pull it out. Cool. The question is, do I bring out the eyelashes? I've really allowed the eyelashes to fade here, and part of me loves that, but part of me is also curious about bringing it out. So maybe I'll just insinuate a little bit more. Yeah, I think just a little more focus on there might work out nicely. I want to keep this eyebrow kind of prominent down here. I like how unshaped they are in the photo reference. Cool. I'm gonna articulate these creases in the neck a little bit more too. There's one. There's another one really close to this, and I'm gonna try to keep this nice and loose. Once again, my goal is not hyperrealism. My goal is just, do I have the story in place? And I think these creases are pretty helpful to the story. The creases show us how dramatically he is twisting and turning his head. Or at least they help tell that story. Just a reminder to those who just jumped into the Instagram live stream, there's a better version on YouTube, so go to my YouTube channel, link in my bio. If you want to see the photo reference, and if you want to see much more higher quality, or just much higher quality. I don't think I needed to say much more higher quality. I think I want to smooth the texture in this ear even more. So I'll hit it with a bit of a smudge stick there. Now the question starts to become, how much more do I want to do on this? How much longer until I have completed what I set out to do? And that's actually what I ask myself. Instead of, is it finished? I ask myself, have I completed what I set out to do? And if I have, then it's probably finished. And what I want to capture is just the story of the moment here. This is Abel, oblivious to what his brother Cain is doing, what his brother Cain is thinking. Want to get a little quote unquote dirtier here in this beard. Just want to get more texture going in the face here. And I want to get a little more specific with the teeth as well. All right, so let's start messing with the teeth here. Just want to bring this value down a little bit. I like the vagueness of this part of the drawing. I don't want to completely obliterate how vague it is. I think that might be too bright, but I don't know. I'm going to think about it. I'm constantly stepping back, making sure I like the overall value patterns here, making sure I haven't left any major mistakes here, but I think I'm closing in on the finished product here. What do y'all think? Is there anything that just desperately needs to be done to this thing? Maybe a little more attention to the tip of the nose here. Hello, Victoria. Thank you, I appreciate that, Tamara Nana. Doing my best to pronounce your names. Sorry if I butcher them. Victoria's from Russia. Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining my stream. Hello from the United States. Yeah, just letting that ear drop back a little bit more. I think these teeth are too bright. Just gonna give it a little bit more tone there. Is the ear too bright as well? Maybe. Just a little bit of tone there. Just a little bit. This is a stage of the drawing where I don't want to make any major decisions too quickly. Ooh, I see what I need to do. I want to soften this lip. This lip is too textured. Oops, sorry, I kicked my phone here. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, well maybe that'll be fine. I want to soften this edge here between the mustache and the cheek. It's not that soft in the photo reference, but I think it's better for the drawing. And that's a huge conversation right there. When is it best to depart from the photo reference that you're using? What are good reasons to do so? These are great questions. I'm going to have to think about that. This value is actually correct, but I do want to tone this down. I don't think I like it standing out that much. I'm going to drop it down and step back. I think I like it. Welcome to those of you who've just jumped into the stream. I just broke my charcoal. Have to go get another piece. I'll just sharpen it. Okay, one sec. All right, so while I'm sharpening my charcoal, there it is. You know what? I may have another one already sharpened. Let me go check, because this can actually take a little while. I do. Sweet. Always good to have a backup. Blowing off all that charcoal dust so I don't accidentally work it into a part of the drawing that I don't want to. This highlight is a little overboard, I think. I'm going to drop this back too. Yeah, that's looking a little better. I think I'm happy with where this is for the time being. I'll probably take a break and do one more session on it. And the last session will probably be just minimal changes. But I really want the buyer to be happy with this. This was a commission. Or it is a commission. Cool. Yeah, I can kind of tell I'm in danger of just working without a clear objective. You know, usually that happens when I get tired, or if I set out at a stage in a drawing where I know what I want to get done, and I get it done. It's time to take a break. Just because if I keep working without a clear objective, I'm just going to start pushing charcoal around, and that's when you start reducing the quality of your drawing. There is one more thing I want to do, and then I'll call it. I just want to get a little bit of light going on this part of the neck. Too much contrast here, so I'm going to pull this out just like that. Back it up, look at it. Okay, I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you all for jumping in and checking out my stream today. Thanks to those of you who've been watching on YouTube. Very new to YouTube streaming, so thanks for watching. Thanks for giving me your thoughts. Same thing on Instagram. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you all on the next one. I literally have my phone taped. There we go. All right. Peace.
You ready to go home? Are you ready to go home, dog?
Oh, I'm still streaming on YouTube, aren't I?